So about a week and a half ago, I had my Yamaha Wave Runner SUV up on Lake Conroe, up on the river, and ended up hitting a stump once I got into the main lake area in about 3 feet of water. And this is what it did to the old intake grate, which is fine. I mean, you look at this saltwater corrosion and pitting on this thing. This thing was very likely on the brittle side by the looks of it anyway. So what it was doing is limiting me to about 5 miles an hour on the way back. And this piece of hardwood mulch was, well, not hardwood mulch, this is part of the stump that broke off. They usually end up terminating vertically with these sharp things, and it just got jammed in there. So I could feel this stuck in there when it was all wet and swollen. Of course, it was just jammed. You couldn't get this thing out, and it was offset over either here or here, I can't remember, but it was not in this piece. So at 5 miles an hour, that's where it would just cavitate violently, and I was assuming that it was this thing right here. So, you know, thought about struggling and dirty water to try to pull this thing out of there. Ended up just limping back to short 5 miles an hour. But actually, when I took this thing out, here's what I actually found that was causing that cavitation. Let me turn on my flash here. I've had this happen before with a top load intake grate, but I have another piece of hardwood mulch that's jammed between the propeller and the wearing, and it is jammed so tight in there. There's absolutely just no way I can even pull that out here a week and a half later after it's dried out. It's jammed quite literally. And 99% sure the rotation of the motor should be basically from this angle looking towards the rear of the ski, counterclockwise, excuse me, clockwise. So you can imagine as this prop is turning, it's just pushing this piece of debris around and causing massive cavitation as soon as you get above a certain speed. But it was able to limp at 5 without killing the motor, without completely locking up the jet pump. But the only way to get at that would be to pull off your ride plate, your intake grate. If you're on the water, if you had enough people to roll the ski on its side, which is really not that easy. And you do have these 10mm bolts here, and here to contend with. Most people don't chase these threads when they buy a ski. I highly recommend you chase these out, get these nice and cleaned up, and then use just like white thread lock inside of these guys, pack it nice and tight so that you get a good barrier of any potential mineral corrosion or saltwater corrosion, mineral buildup, calcium deposits in your lake, etc. So that's kind of the story on how to hopefully be able to rescue yourself if you get stuck in a situation further from shore. Oh, there we go, and she just freed up. So yeah, so you can see that was just basically that part of the petrified stump was just embedded in the prop, and it was just scooting it around. And now, well, I can't turn that, of course, because I got compression on the motor. But the good thing is, I'm going to stick my camera up in there so I can look at this video later. It does not appear to have done any damage to the prop. Prop wearing clearance looks really good because it was just wood. It wasn't like it was metal running around in there. And it does not appear that my intake grate went through my prop, which I'm super happy about.